has died to sin cannot live any longer in sin. Now, he doesn't say anything at all about the fact that when we become Christians, we lose the opportunity or the ability to sin. That's not at all what he's saying. Continuing as humans, we continue to have the tendency to sin. And we will continue to sin. But what he's going to be talking about over the next few verses is what he's already alluded to it. But the idea is that no longer can sin be the dominating factor in the life that we live. We know that. We understand that. The people in Rome needed to understand it. So Paul wants them to really be aware of the fact that sin can no longer be dominating the life that you live, because now you are a Christian who has died to sin, so you can no longer live in sin. So we've already talked a little bit about that in the first 4 verses of this chapter. In fact, we spent some time last week talking about that the man of sin has died. We don't live any longer there. That man is gone. That whoever it is, whoever I was, is no longer there. I now am living for Christ. And I've been raised to walk in newness of life. The old man died. I'm now walking in newness of life. I want to pick up there at verse 5 and go on and discuss a little bit about what now Paul is going to go to begin to talk about as he just continues the thought. And he says in verse 5, "For if we have been united together in the likeness of his death, certainly we also shall be in the likeness of his resurrection." Let's think about that verse for a moment and think about the idea of where he says, if we have been united together. And the idea is, I think, building on everything that we've already talked about and continuing that thought, we have become one with Christ in the likeness of his death by the act of baptism, because that's what he's discussing here. Therefore, we have become one with him in the likeness of his resurrection. You can't rise unless you've died. And so we unite ourselves together, or we are established together with him, one version may say. We are united together with him in death, in the likeness of his death. We also shall be united together with him in the likeness of his resurrection. So becoming one with him in death makes us dead to sin. Becoming one with him in his resurrection makes us alive to God. So the Christian, because of his or her obedience, has died to sin and raised to live with God. And so Paul appeals to their experience in the next few verses when he says in verse 6, knowing this, he appeals to what they already know. Not just to their experience, what they have experienced in their conversion process because of their obedience to